Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, let's talk about relationships. And I'm going to be sharing with you 6 principles taught by the Buddha on having a healthy and happy relationship. Well, maintaining a healthy relationship, maintaining a happy relationship or long-lasting relationship is a bit challenging. Why? Because we have different personalities. We are different from one to another, right? But we lose this ability to understand about this situation, this reality. What is the reality? The difference between each other. Sometimes we ask from the people, or we ask from our partners, why can't you think like me? Why can't you be like me? Why can't you act like me or behave like me? This is where we make many problems in relationships. But if we can realize the difference between one another, or if we can realize this reality, what is that? We are different from each other. Then we can get the power of understanding. There's one important quality that we must practice in any kind of relationship, and that is the understanding. Right? Understand other situations. Understand why they are acting like that, why they are behaving like that. So, our great teacher Supreme Buddha taught there are 6 principles to practice. These are the practices, actually. If you practice these 6 principles in any kind of relationship, your relationship will be much more happy and healthy. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get into these principles, and I'm going to explain one by one in turn. First of all, the Buddha said, you need to practice these principles when that person, the person or our partner or our companion or the people who we are relating to, when that person with us or in front of us, and also in the times where that person is not with us. That means both privately and publicly we have to practice and maintain these principles in our life. And also, these principles was taught by the Buddha to monks actually, because as monks, we live as a community. Now in our monastery, we have more than 25 monks. So when you analyze their personalities, they all are different. They all have different ways of lifestyles. So when we are interacting, there may be some problems. There may be some crashes. But if you practice these qualities, if we practice these qualities, there will be less problems. There will be less disagreements. So that is why Buddha taught us these principles. So this was originally preached by the Buddha to the monks actually. And also, you can apply these principles to your life also. So let's get into the first principle. Buddha said, you need to treat your spiritual companions, regarding to monks actually. Buddha said, you need to treat your companions with physical kindness, bodily kindness. What do you mean by bodily kindness? There are certain things that we can do from our body in order to show our kindness or show our compassion towards that person. It may not be big things like spending money on big things and buying big things to the person. But also, there are many things that we can do. There are little things that we can do for that person to create happiness on that person's mind. And also we can give that, by doing these things, we can give that idea that we value your life. That I value your being with me. So Buddha said, do the acts of loving kindness from your body. Maybe like helping in his career, maybe like helping in his household activities. If you take an example, like in a husband and wife relationship, you can share the things that you are doing in the life. We can help each other. That is one way of showing love and kindness to that person. And also we can show in many ways our love and kindness to these people. When you act from your body with love and kindness, that creates the mutuality between people. So the first principle is to treat people with physical kindness. Then Buddha said, as the second principle, treat the companions with verbal kindness. You can speak nice and kind and heartwarming words to them to create the happiness and create the pleasure in their mind. Each and every one of us likes to listen to pleasant words, right? We all surrender in front of the kindness, kind words, kind actions. So the first and second thing is to treat them with physical kindness and also with verbal kindness. And as the third principle, Buddha said, this is the most important principle, and that is, treat your companions with mental kindness. This is the important one. Why is that? Because if you generate these kind thoughts towards the people around you, in your mind, your thoughts become your actions. Then your actions will be more kind. Your thoughts become your words, then your words will become more kind. So as the third principle, Buddha taught us, treat your companion with mental kindness. Okay? So when you treat your companion with mental kindness, that means you are spreading this rays and this power of kindness towards them when that person is in front of us, and also in the times where he or she is not with us. We have to do it in the same way. That is the third one. And also as the fourth principle, Buddha said, you have to share without reservation. For the monks, Buddha said, if you get any kind of food or any something good to your life, you have to share that thing with your spiritual companions. Now, we monks, when we get some food, we always try to share with our monks. So you can adopt that to your life. Whatever the things that you get, maybe like you had something very delicious food when you're working in a long distance place. And when you come home, or when you come to your partner, or when you come to that person, you can say, hey, I had this food, I had this delicious food. I need you to have that. That means you're sharing it. When you share without reservation, it creates the peacefulness and it strengthens the relationships. So sharing is one of the most key and important ingredients in relationships. And as the fifth principle, Buddha said, you have to be virtuous. What do you mean by virtuous? Now, in Buddhism, as normal people, in Buddhism, we practice 5 precepts. Buddhist people practice 5 precepts: abstaining from killing beings, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from telling lies, and abstaining from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs or alcohols. So these are the 5 precepts that lay people practice in Buddhism. So when you become more moral or virtuous, it creates the trust in people. Now there's in relationships, in normal relationships, in people, this third precept is very important. In third precept, it simply says, you are not cheating your partner. That means It creates the trust and loyalty between the partner and in the relationship. In any kind of relationship, trust is the foundation. Without trust, there is no use of a relationship. So when you become more virtuous, you will create the trust and loyalty in the relationship. And as the sixth and the final principle, Buddha taught us, you have to have a common view in any kind of relationship. That means, if you can, in a relationship, if both the people, or if everyone work for one dream, work to achieve one goal, that creates the peace in this relationship. Now, as monks, Buddha said you have to have one dream or one goal in your life. There's only one purpose of becoming a monk, and that is to end the sufferings of this long cycle of rebirth and to be enlightened. When all the monks get together and work for that dream, then that will be so much easy to live with them, right? When someone is deviating from that path, that creates the problem, right? So in relationships also, if every one of us can work for one dream or to achieve one goal, then that will be more easy and more happy. So these are the 6 principles that we must practice in any kind of relationship. You can apply these principles to any kind of relationships, whether it is husband and wife, maybe like girlfriend and boyfriend, whether it is like parents and children, whatever the relationship is, you can apply these principles and make it more healthy and happy. So practice these principles, add them to your life, and make your life a better one. So I'm going to end this video with a nice quote that I've read. It says, all relationships go through bad times, but the real relationships get through bad times. So practice the principles and make your life a better one. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome you all wonderful people and my dear sons and daughters. This is the second video of Essence of Buddhism video series. In the last video, we learned the first verse of where the Buddha describes about the essence of Buddhism. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the second verse, right? So if you haven't watched the first video, just check out this video right here. You can learn about the first verse that teaches us about the essence of Buddhism. Right, let's get to the verse first. So in this verse, Buddha teaches us special qualities that we have to practice in our life. So first of all, I will chant it for you and you have to listen it closely. And after that, let's learn the meaning. The verse goes like this. Khanti paramang tapo titikha Nibbanang paramang vadanti buddha Nahi pabbajito parupaghati Samano hoti parang vihetayanto. So let's learn the meaning of this verse. Khanti paramang tapotitika. Buddha teaches us the patience is the highest virtue that you can practice in this world. Now, how can we be patient? Now, Buddha teaches that you have to be patient when people speak rude words to you. Right? Most of the time, when people blames us, when people criticizes us, when people say mean things to us, what is the normal reaction, natural reaction of ourselves? The anger, the rude words, right? This is the natural reaction. But they say, no, Don't react in anger. Right? Be patient. Now, being patient does not mean enduring or tolerating the things out of fear. You should not be fear of anyone, right? You don't want to be fear of the person who is speaking rude to you, but still, what you have to do, patience means really being patient or tolerating these things positively, right? He's afraid of losing his temper. He doesn't like to lose his temper and speak rude words. Now, when you become patient, Buddha said, you should not hate the person who is speaking rude words to you. Right? Is it very easy? No, it's very difficult, right? Now, most of the people say, when I say these things, like, it's very easy for you to say to be patient, but it's very difficult in the practical world. Yeah, it is very difficult. Even we, the monks, have to go through such situations. Even we have to practice patience. We have to be kind to people sometimes. We should not let our anger to take action. Otherwise, if we keep on doing these evil things, if we keep on practicing the anger, hatred, and selfishness, there will be no value in our life. There will be no good in our life. And that is why Buddha said, you have to be patient. And also Buddha said, you have to be patient when you're going through hard and tough situations, either physically, mentally, or socially. Sometimes you have to go through tough situations in your body. You may fall ill. You may have so many difficult, painful feelings inside your body. Buddha said, be patient. Don't lose your temper. Don't be angry when you're having the physical pains. Most of the time, when you're having a physical pain inside, when your body is paining, maybe you're having a disease, you tend to lose your temper. If you visit the hospital, you will see those patients, right? Those patients who are having severe pains, they even blame the doctors. They even blame the people who are treating them to them. So Buddha said, be patient in such situations. Practice the patience. Okay? Then you will not lose your good qualities. Nibbanang paramang vadanti Buddha. Buddha said, the enlightenment is the highest achievement that you can achieve in this world. Now in Buddhism, everything boils down to Nibbana. That is the only intention and that is the only aim of practicing the Buddha's teachings. Now you may be wondering what is enlightenment is. Enlightenment is a deep and a profound topic where we have to discuss in a separate video series. Surely I will do it in the future. But for now, for your understanding, for a simple explanation, Buddha said, Ragakkayo, dosakkayo, mohakkayo, nibbanang. The ending of the desire or the greediness or the greed, dosakkayo, the ending of the anger, and the ending of the delusion or the ego is what you call the nibbana, the enlightenment. So when you end or when you remove these defilements or these impurities from your mind, the desire, the lust or the desire or the greediness, or Buddha said, the hatred, the anger, and the delusion from your mind, what happens to you? You become enlightened. Once you become enlightened, your mind becomes calm, still, peaceful, and tranquilized. And it is unshakable. That enlightenment, that achievement is unshakable. So that is the highest achievement in the Buddha's teachings. Nibbanang paramang vadanti Buddha. Nahi pabbajito paropaghati. Now this is referred to the monks actually. Buddha gives the advice to the monks. Nahi pabbajito paropaghati. He who hates and hurts others or kill others is not a monk, right? He's not a monk. He's not a true practitioner of the Buddha's teachings. Samano hoti parangvihitayanto. He who hurts others, or he who makes others tired and difficult times to others, is not a monk too, right? That is referred to the monks, and also you can relate it to your life, and you will not become a good person when you hate and when you hurt others. So Buddha said, Etang buddhana sasanang. This is the advice of the Buddhas to this world. Be patient, achieve the enlightenment, and do not hurt and hate others. This is the advice of all the Buddhas to this world. Now see how peaceful and how wonderful the thoughts of our Buddha and the advice of our Buddha. So we all can practice this. So as Buddhists and as everyone who practice this, if you practice this and if you go through this advice, you can have a peaceful life, right? You can have the happiness in your life. So practice it and do good and be good. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome you all wonderful people and my dear children. This is the third video of Essence of Buddhism video series. So today we are going to learn the 185th verse of Dhammapada, where Buddha describes us the essence of Buddhism, or what Buddha really taught to this world. So first of all, as usual, as same as in the other videos, I will chant the words for you, and then we are going to learn the meaning. So the verse goes like this. Anupavado anupaghato patimukhecha sangvaro matanyuta cha bhattasmin pantang cha sayanasanang adhichitte cha ayogo etang buddhana sasanang. So let's learn the meaning of it. In this verse, Buddha says, Anupavado anupaghato. Do not disparage others, or do not look down on others, and do not destroy others' lives. This is the Buddha's teaching, or Buddha's advice to this world. Now in this line, Buddha says, do not look down on others. Do not compare yourself with others and do not think of yourself like I am a high-valued person. I am better than them. Right? Simply, Buddha says, in another word, Buddha says, do not be big-headed. And also, Buddha says, do not destroy the lives of beings. This is the first precept that we observe as Buddhists all around the world. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. That means we refrain from taking others' lives, taking lives of the beings. So the Buddha's advice to this world, or Buddha's teaching to this world, is to refrain from being swollen-headed and to refrain from killing animals. And in the next line, Buddha says, Pati mokkhe cha sangvaro. Be disciplined according to the monastic code of conduct, or monastic rules. Now this line is referred to the monks actually, right? When it comes to the monkhood, we have the precepts. We have many precepts to protect. They are like code of conducts, right? It purifies our bodily conduct and the verbal conduct. So Buddha advises us to be disciplined. Simply, you can relate it to your life, to be disciplined from your body and from your words, right? So the discipline is a bigger part in Buddhism. to be disciplined, to have a good moral conduct. So Buddha said, be disciplined according to the monastic code. And then Buddha said, mattanyutacha bhattasmi. Now this is very important for every one of us, right? What is that? Be moderate in eating. The moderation of food. What do you mean by moderation of food? Simply, it means know the purpose of eating. Sometimes we forget why we are eating. Sometimes we overeat. We eat too much, and that gives this physical uncomfortableness. Now Buddha said, eat according to your health, right? Eat the food to have a better health and to sustain this life, not to enjoy by eating too much and be living an unhealthy life. So in Buddhism, healthiness or this health is a bigger part. Buddha said, arogya paramalabha. Health is the greatest gift that you can receive in this world. So Buddha says, be moderate in eating, right? Do not overeat, because when we overeat, our craving and our lust take over our mind. That is why we overeat. So be moderate in eating and know the purpose of the food. Then Buddha said, pantangcha sayanasana. Now this is also referred to the monks, right? Buddha advised us to live in the forest where you are secluded from the people. You're away from these distractions. Now you may not have this chance to live in a forest or live in a quiet and calm and peaceful place. Maybe you are living in a town in the middle of distraction. So how could you find the peacefulness according to Buddha's teachings? Now remember, the distraction is not really the distraction. You can live peacefully and you can live calmly in the middle of the distractions too, if you find the silence in between these distractions. Because now, for an example, if we try to meditate, right? Suppose a distractive sound came up. Maybe someone is banging to a nail. Maybe someone is making some noises. What is our reaction? What will be our reaction? Our reaction will be the anger, right? Our mind just clashes with that sound. So that will be a distraction. If you know how to meditate correctly, right? If you know how to meditate correctly, you can live with that distraction. You can live with that sound. You can be friendly with that sound. When you become friendly with the noises and the distractions, they will not bother you, right? So that is the thing. You can find the peacefulness and the silence even in the middle of the distractions. So don't worry about the place you are living. Try to be peaceful. Try to do a little bit of a meditation. Be by yourself, right? Be secluded from the people for a little while, even for a day, for a little time in a day, and then you can find the peacefulness. So that is why Buddha said, so to dwell in the forest, for the monks actually, and then adicittecha ayogo. Now this is very important. Buddha said, be devoted to the meditation. Meditation must be a bigger part of your life. There are so many people, they are not meditating, right? But meditation must be a bigger part of our life. Because through that meditation, if we are meditating, you will start to feel the peacefulness, right? If you're doing it for a long time continuously, you will start to feel. The reason why many people doesn't find meditation is so enjoyable is because they give up in the first place. They expect too much from their life. They expect this calmness and peacefulness and stillness in the mind from the first session of the meditation or first day of the meditation. Trust me, that is not going to happen for many people. If there are lucky people out there, it will happen. But for many people, it's not going to happen. So don't expect too much from your meditation. Just you have to hang to the process, keep doing it for a long time. Then you will feel the peacefulness. So these are the pieces of advice that was given by the Buddha to this world. This is what the Buddha taught to this world. If we practice this, regardless of any kind of religion, everyone can practice this, right? Everyone can master these skills. And when you practice the Buddha's teachings, surely you will find the happiness of your life. So practice the Buddha's teachings. Be mindful, be kind, and be wise. And then you can live a happy life in this world. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to yet another episode in Inner Guide Q&A program. Now it's been a long time that we haven't done a Q&A session. So today we are going to answer one of your questions. Someone has mentioned in the comments that it said that what to do when the life is becoming unfair and what to do when life is not going in my way. Well, we are going to talk about this today. First of all, remember the nature of our life. What is the nature of our life? Life is a little bit unfair. That is the real nature. But the problem is we expect that everything in our life to be perfect and to be fair. That is the problem. That is where the real problem is. Because Buddha said, if you have expectations, if you have more and more expectations inside yourself, chances are very high for you to feel so stressed. So remember that expectations stands for suffering. If you expect the life to be fair, you will suffer, right? So the nature of our life is, it is a little bit unfair. So how to face such situations, how to face unfair situations in our life? Well, I want you to do 3 things when you face tough situations in your life, right? These are very simple, but yet when you practice it, it is very hard to do that, but you can achieve it. Number 1, first of all, you need to realize what the situation is. That is the first thing that you have to do. If you're going through a hard time, right, you need to analyze about that and see what the problem is. Well, there are 2 types of situations in our life. What is that? First type of situation is the situations which are in our control, experiences which can be changed by ourselves, right? And the second type of situation is the situations which are out of our control. We cannot do many things about that situation, right? So these are the 2 types of situations that we go through in our life. So first of all, you need to analyze and you need to see what the problem is, whether it is in my control or out of my control. Right? When you realize about the situation, then you can do something about that situation. Okay? That is the first thing you have to do. Analyze the situation. Number 2, if it is a situation that is in your control, just do something to change that situation. So what are the things that are in our control? What are the situations and experiences that we face in our life and which are in our control? Well, if you face a bad time, if you face a stressful situation because of your own faults, because of a mistake that is within yourself, then you can change it. Because we own our mistakes. We are the owners of our mistakes, and the mistakes can only be changed by ourselves. No one can change that. Someone can advise you, someone can show you the path, but no one can make it correct than you. So what you have to do, you have to change the situation. If it is your mistake, correct it. If it is your fault, then do something about it to change that situation. So these are the things that are in our control. Remember. Here's the third one. When we face the situations that are out of our control, how to face that situation? Well, these are the situations we spend most of our time trying to change that, but we cannot do anything about that situation. So what are the situations which are out of our control? There are many things, right? Criticism is out of your control. People's opinions, they are out of our control. How people behave in front of you is totally out of your control. They are their choices, not your own choice. But we try to change these situations, and we become so sad and depressed trying to change, and we find that we cannot change this situation. So if you cannot change the situation, what you have to do? You have to change your perspective about the situation, right? You can change the perspective about the situation, because the perspective and the way you see that about that situation is totally in your control, because your thoughts are in your control, right? So what you need to do is, if you cannot change the situation, change the perspective, change the way you see about that situation. Okay? So remember, when people act weird in front of you, when people try to make you angry, when people criticize you, right? When people give unwanted opinions about you, just think, these things are out of my control. I should not waste my time of my life to change these situations. It is much better to change my perspective about this situation. So how can you change the situation? How can you change the perspective? You can be kind to them, right? You can maintain a positive mindset inside you, right? It is much better to maintain a positive mindset daily, every day, right? Listen to some things, positive words every day. It is much better to do that, because the more you listen to the positive words, positive ideas, right? Then the more you become positive inside, right? Then you can change your perspective about the situation. That is what you can do. Always remember what Buddha said. It is a nice quote that Buddha said that describes about the life. Buddha said, Achinti tampi bhavati, chinti tampi vinasati. That is one of the greatest and one of the nicest quotes that Buddha have told about the life. In life, Buddha said, Achinti tampi bhavati. Most of the times, unexpected things happen. Isn't that true? We don't know what will happen in the next time, right? It is a mystery. So in life, always unexpected things happen. And the things that we expected will going to be destroyed, right? If we expect something, we don't get the same thing. That is the thing. So remember that quote that was said by the Buddha. Achinti tampi bhavati, chinti tampi vinasati. Right? And there's another quote that was said by the Buddha. Sadharanang vihanyanti. If you expect the life to be fair, chances are more that for you to suffer in your life. So live with less expectations, right? If you're going through a tough situation, just analyze the situation, realize about the situation, and if you can change the situation, do something about it. If you cannot do it, something about the situation, change your perspective. That is what you can do when the life is not going in your way. So make your life a peaceful one with the teachings. Namo Buddhaya.